Hello everyone and welcome to today's session, and today we'll be discussing the theory for the chapter Living World. So this is the part 2 of the lecture. Before starting this lecture, I just want to give you one information. The images, text and other materials used in the presentations are for education purposes only. We respect the intellectual property rights of the original creators and owners. If you are the owner and have any concerns or issues, please contact us at sathee@itk.ac.in and we shall remove the content immediately. Please note that parts of the content may have been generated using generative AI, which is experimental. So let's start with this topic, taxonomic categories. So there's a lot of biodiversity. There are different, you can say, life forms present on the earth. You have different species of insects, plants, animals, even microorganisms. So you cannot study each and every, you can say, individual organism. So how you can study these organisms then? So you can study these organisms by classifying them. So what does classification means? So classification is the grouping of organism into categories based on common characteristic or based on shared characteristic, or you can say based on similar characteristic. Okay. So classification is not a single step process, but involves hierarchy of steps in which each step represents a rank or the category. Clear? So these categories, you can also call these categories as groups, or you can call these groups as categories. So these categories, they represent a rank, or they represent a certain level. So for example, dogs is a particular category. Okay, then dogs, they are mammals, so mammals is also a category. Then mammals, they are included in animals. So animals is also a category. So these are all taxonomic categories. These are all groups. Okay, and these categories are made on the basis of shared characteristic. But you can see here, all these are categories, all are taxons, but the level is different, the rank is different. If we talk about dogs, it is at the lower rank. Then mammals, they are at the higher rank as compared to dogs. And animals, they occupy the highest level or the rank. So here you can see there is a hierarchy here from lower to higher. So these categories, what do they represent? They represent a rank. Since the category is a part of overall taxonomic arrangement, it is called the taxonomic category, and all categories together constitute the taxonomic hierarchy. So these categories, they are also called as taxonomic categories. And all these categories together constitute the taxonomic hierarchy. Hierarchy means there is a rank system. The levels are different. Now each category refers to as the unit of classification. In fact, represents a rank and is commonly termed as a taxon. So what is the scientific name of these categories? So these categories are known as taxon. This is a scientific name given to these taxonomic categories. Now, taxonomic categories and hierarchy can be illustrated by an example. Let's understand these categories and hierarchy by an example. So insects, you all know about insects. Insect, they are grouped together based on certain similar features. So insects represents group of organism sharing common feature. What is that common feature? 3 pairs of jointed legs. Okay, so all these insects, they are grouped into one category. That is, obviously this group is known as insect, and the members of this group, okay, how they are grouped together based on the similarity, based on the similar feature. Which is the similar feature? Or what is the common feature? 3 pair of jointed legs. So here you can see in this figure insect with 3 pair of jointed legs. This is the fore leg. Then this is the middle leg, and this is the hind leg. Alright. Now it means insects are recognizable concrete objects which can be classified and thus were given a rank or a category. So insects, or the member of this group insects, they share common characteristic, and insects can be given a particular rank. So this category or this group can be given a particular rank. Okay, insects belong to phylum Arthropoda. Arthropoda, what is arthropoda? What does arthropoda means? It means jointed appendages. So each group can be given a certain rank. So this is known as taxonomic hierarchy. So remember, groups represents category. So these groups, they represents category, and category further denotes a rank, a level. So these groups can be at lower rank, okay, or at higher rank. Each rank or taxon in fact represents a unit of classification. Okay, so each category, each group, each taxon, okay, or each rank, they represents a unit of classification. Now these taxonomic groups or categories are distinct biological entities and not merely morphological aggregates. So this line is very important. What does this mean? So these categories or these groups, they are not created, or they are just not based on the morphological characteristic, means external characteristic. These categories are distinct biological entities, means they have different genetic makeup, they have different genes, their DNA sequence is also different. So they are just not merely morphological aggregates, means they are not grouped into one category just on the basis of morphological characteristics. Now, taxonomical studies of all known organisms have led to the development of common categories such as kingdom, phylum or division, class, order, family, genus and species. So these are the common categories that have been developed. Kingdom is the highest category or a taxon. Then lower to kingdom is phylum. Phylum is used in the case of animals. Division is used in the case of plants. Then lower to phylum is class. Then you have order, family, genus and species is the lowest most taxon. So species is quite specific, and the number of similarities at the species level, which is the lowest most taxon, is maximum. Kingdom, this is a very broad category. Okay, like kingdom Animalia, it includes all the animals, chordates, non-chordates. Okay, lower organisms, higher animals. So kingdom is a very broad category, and remember, it is the largest category or highest category, sorry, it is the highest category, and the number of similarities between the members belonging to this category will be minimum. All organisms, including those in the plant and animal kingdom, have species as the lowest category. Species is the lowest category, okay, or the lowest taxon, you can say. Now the question you may ask is how to place an organism in various categories. So this question should come in your mind. How can you place an organism into these categories, into these groups? So organisms are placed into these various categories based on similar characteristic or shared characteristic or common characteristic. Now the basic requirement is the knowledge of characters of an individual or group of organism. So first of all, you should know about the features, the characters of that organism or group of organism. Okay, what are the features? What are the morphological features? Anatomical features. Okay. Let's cellular features. Clear? So you should have a knowledge about the characters of that organism. So this helps you identifying similarities and dissimilarities among the individual of the same kind of organism as well as of other kind of organism. So if you know about the characters of a particular group of organism or of that of a single individual, then okay, so this will help you identify the similarities between the organism as well as dissimilarities between the organism, and you can use this information to classify this organism into various groups. So you can say, okay, these organisms or these individuals are sharing these characteristics, so we can put it in one group. Then you can say, okay, these organisms, they don't share any characteristic, so we put them in different groups. So let's talk about species. Species is the lowest most taxon. So taxonomic studies consider a group of individual organisms with fundamental similarities as species. So member of a species, they can interbreed with each other and they are reproductively isolated. Okay, they cannot reproduce, they cannot interbreed with the members of the other species. It is the lowest most taxon. Now one should be able to distinguish one species from the other closely related species based on distinct morphological differences. So member of one species, okay, how can you differentiate between member of one species and other closely related species? By looking at the morphological differences, means external features. Now let us consider Mangifera indica. This is a scientific name for mango. Solanum tuberosum is a scientific name for potato. Panthera leo is a scientific name for lion. So here indica, tuberosum and leo, these represent the specific epithet, means this is the species name. While the first word Mangifera, Solanum, Panthera are genera, means this is a genus name and represents another higher level of taxon or category. So genus is at higher level as compared to species. Each genus may have one or more than one specific epithet representing different organism but having morphological similarities. So this means that each genus can have more than one specific epithet. Okay, and when the specific epithet is different, the species is different, it will represent different organisms. Okay, genus can be same, but if the species is different, then the organism will be different. But these organisms will share similar characteristic. They will be similar you can say in external features. They will have morphological similarities. For example, Panthera, which is a genus, has another specific epithet, tigris. So one was Leo, another one is tigris. And Solanum includes species like nigrum and melongena. Solanum is a genus. It can have more than one specific epithet. One is nigrum, another one is melongena. So here you can see species, example of the species. Here you can see Forstera, tigris, Plexippus, these are all species. And species name is always written in the small letters. It starts with the small letter. Aptenodytis, this is a genus, Panthera is a genus, and Danus is a genus. Now human beings belong to the species sapiens, and which is grouped in the genus Homo. So what is the scientific name of humans? Homo sapiens. Scientific name thus for human being is written as Homo sapiens. Let's talk about the genus. Genus comprises a group of related species which has more characters in common in comparison to species of other genera. So what is genus? It is a group of related species, and these species share common characteristics in comparison to species of other genera. Okay, so the species which are included in a particular genus, they will share common characteristics. That's why you are writing the word related species. So this word is very important, related species. You have to write this. Now we can say that genera are aggregates of closely related species. Means these species, they will share common characteristics. For example, potato and brinjal are two different species, but both belong to the genus Solanum. Okay, potato is Solanum tuberosum, brinjal is Solanum melongena. Now, lion is Panthera leo, leopard is Panthera pardus, tiger is Panthera tigris, with several common features. Okay, they are all species of the genus Panthera. So one genus can have more than one specific epithet. So this genus differs from the other genus Felis, which includes cat. So Felis is another genus. This includes cats. Let's talk about the family. The next category is family. What is family? It is a group of related genera with still less number of similarities as compared to genus and species. Now what does this mean? This means as you are moving higher, okay, you are moving towards the higher taxon, the number of similarity will decrease. Okay, at the species level, there is maximum number of similarities. As you are moving up, the number of similarities become less. The number of similar character, number of shared characteristic become less. And the categories, they become broad. They become more broad. Now, families are characterized on the basis of both vegetative and reproductive features of the plant species. So, vegetative features for plants are roots, stem, leaves. Reproductive features are, okay, what is reproductive features? The flower, okay, the inflorescence. Now, among plants, for example, three different genera, Solanum, Petunia, with Datura, are placed in the family Solanaceae. So these Solanum, Petunia, Datura, these are all genus. So these are closely related to each other, and that's why they are placed in the family Solanaceae. Among animals, for example, genus Panthera, comprising lion, tiger, leopard, is put along with the genus Felis in the family Felidae. Clear? So genus Panthera and genus Felis, both are placed in the family Felidae. Similarly, if you observe the features of a cat and a dog, you will find some similarities and some differences as well. So they are separated into two different families, Felidae and Canidae, respectively. Let's talk about the order. You have seen earlier that categories like species, genus, and families are based on number of similar characteristics. Generally, order and other higher taxonomic categories are identified based on aggregates of the characters. Now, order being a higher category is assemblage of families which exhibit a few similar characteristics. So what is order? It is assemblage of the families. Now it is saying which exhibit a few similar characters. So now as you are moving up, the number of shared characters, number of similar characters are decreasing. So that's why we are saying the order is assemblage of families, and these families are, okay, they are related, but not that much related. So it exhibit a few similar characteristics because the groups are becoming broad now. Now similar characters are less in number as compared to different genera included in the family. So it is writing similar characters are less in number. Okay, when we are talking about the order. Now plants like, families like plant families like Convolvulaceae, Solanaceae are included in the order Polymoniales, mainly based on the floral characters. Animal order Carnivora includes family like Felidae and Canidae. So Carnivora order, this includes family like Felidae and Canidae. So these Felidae and Canidae, okay, they come under the order Carnivora. They share some similar characteristic. Okay, not many similar characteristic. Let's talk about the class. So this category include related orders. For example, order Primata comprises monkey, gorilla, gibbon. Okay, gibbon is placed in the class Mammalia along with the order Carnivora that includes animal like tiger, cat and dog. So you can see monkey, okay, belongs to order Primata and tiger belongs to order Carnivora. So these two are quite different, monkey and tiger, gorilla and cat, but still these orders are placed in the class Mammalia. So you can see the number of similar characteristics, number of shared characteristics are decreasing. Okay. Class Mammalia has other orders also like Rodentia, which includes rodents, then Chiroptera, which includes bats. Let's talk about the phylum. Now classes comprising animal like fishes, amphibians, reptiles, birds along with the mammals constitute the next higher category called phylum. So phylum is the aggregate of class. All these based on common features like presence of notochord and dorsal hollow neural systems are included in the phylum Chordata. So member of the phylum Chordata, they share a common feature. What is this common feature? Presence of the notochord and dorsal hollow neural system. So what is notochord? Notochord is generally seen in the embryonic stage and notochord helps in the organization of the nervous system. In case of plant, classes with few similar characters are assigned to higher category called division. So in case of plants, we use the word division instead of phylum. Let's talk about the kingdom. Now all animals belong to the various phyla are assigned to the highest category called kingdom Animalia in the classification system of animals. Okay, so kingdom is the highest taxon. It is quite broad and the number of similar characteristics are very less. Okay, for example, kingdom Animalia, it includes all the animals. Okay, terrestrial animals, aquatic animals, chordate, non-chordates. So kingdom Plantae on the other hand is distinct and comprises all plants from various divisions. Henceforth, we will refer to these two groups as animal and plant kingdom. So these are the highest categories or highest taxon. So these are quite broad categories. However, taxonomists have also developed subcategories in this hierarchy to facilitate more sound and scientific placement of various taxa. So you can see this is the taxonomic hierarchy in ascending order. Species, this is the lowest most taxon. Then higher to species you have the genus. Okay. Then higher to genus is family. Then you have order, class, phylum or division, and then kingdom is the highest taxon. Okay, kingdom is quite broad. You have to remember this. Species is quite specific. At the kingdom level, the members of this category, kingdom, they will share very less similar characteristic. Okay, for example, okay, kingdom Animalia, it includes all the animals. Okay, suppose, okay, these animals are based on what? These are grouped on the basis of multicellularity. Okay, they all are multicellular. That's why they are placed in one group. Okay, so this is quite broad feature. They are multicellular. Clear? But they might differ in rest of the characteristic. They are only similar. Why? Because they are multicellular. Clear? So that's why the number of similarities decreases as we move higher up the taxon. Now, can you recall the basis of this arrangement? What was the basis of this arrangement? So this arrangement was based, or these groups were made on the basis of similar characteristic. Okay, so the living organism were placed in groups. Okay, these groups were based on the shared characteristic or similar characteristic. Okay, as we go higher from species to kingdom, the number of common characteristic goes on decreasing. This we have already discussed. As you are moving up from species to kingdom, the number of similar characteristics, they are decreasing. Okay, like I've given you the example of multicellular organisms. Multicellular organisms, they are included in one category. Okay, they are only placed in that group because they are multicellular, but they might differ in the rest of the characteristics. Now, lower the taxa, more are the characteristics that the members within the taxon share. Okay, this is also very important point. Lower the taxa, the species, the lowest most taxon, more the characteristic that the members within the taxon share. Okay, or this means there will be more number of shared characteristic or more number of similar characteristic between the members of that taxon or that category. Higher the category, greater is the difficulty of determining the relationship to other taxa at the same level. So obviously, the higher taxa, at higher taxa, what is happening? Number of similar characteristic between the members are very less. So it is very difficult to determine the relationship. Okay, because they are not at all similar. Clear? So how can we determine the relationship if there are no similar characteristics? They are only similar in just few characteristics. So it is very hard to determine the relationship among the organisms. Hence the problem classification become more complex usually at the higher taxon. So this is a table. This indicates the taxonomic categories to which some common organisms like housefly, man, mango, and weed belong. So you can see here in this table, common name are given: man, housefly, mango, and weed. These are the common names. So let's start with man. Biological name, scientific name of man is Homo sapiens, genus is Homo, family is Hominidae, order is Primata, class is Mammalia. Here phylum will be Chordata. Now housefly, biological name is Musa domestica, genus is Musa, family is Musidae, order is Diptera, class is Insecta, and phylum Arthropoda. Then mango, biological name is Mangifera indica, genus is Mangifera, family is Anacardiaceae, order is Sapindales, class is Dicotyledone, and division is Angiosperm. So in case of plants we use division. Angiosperms means they are flowering plants. These angiosperm can be divided into dicots and monocots. Dicots have 2 cotyledon, monocot have only 1 cotyledon, which is known as scutellum. Then wheat scientific name is Triticum aestivum, genus is Triticum, family is Poaceae, order is Poales, class is Monocotyledone, means it is a monocot, and division is Angiospermae. So you have to remember this table. So they can ask you in exam, what is the order to which man belong, or what is the family to which the housefly belong. Okay, what is the order to which mango belongs, or what is the you can say scientific name of wheat, or what is the class to which wheat belongs, or division to which wheat belongs. Let's discuss the summary of the theory that we have discussed. Taxonomic studies of various species of plants and animals are useful in agriculture, forestry, industry, and in general for knowing our bioresources and their diversity. So we are classifying the organisms into various groups so that we can easily study them. And these animals and plants, they can be used in agriculture to increase the crop yield. They can be used in forestry. They can be used in industry. So they have a lot of industrial application. We have isolated a lot of antibiotics from them. Okay, we have isolated a lot of we get a lot of medicines from them. Okay, these are known as biopharmaceuticals. Okay, so human is very curious. They want to explore more areas. They want to discover new species, and these species can be used for human welfare. An organism represents or occupies a place or position in the system of classification. So each organism occupies a particular particular place in the system of classification. So all these categories that we were talking about, these represents the rank or the level. So there are many categories or ranks and are generally referred to as taxonomic categories. So these groups or these categories or these ranks, they are known as taxonomic categories, and these categories, these taxonomic categories represents a particular rank. Now all the categories constitute the taxonomic hierarchy. So there is a hierarchy, means there is a ranking system. Species the lowest most taxon, kingdom is the highest taxon. Above to kingdom you have domain, but we are not talking about the domain here. Okay, so there is a hierarchical system, ranking system here. Okay, so this was the end of the theory. Let's start with the DPP for this chapter. Okay, let's start with the DPP for this chapter. So what is the first question? Which taxonomic category includes related orders? Okay. What are the options? Genus, family, class, and phylum. Okay, so these are all taxonomic categories. Okay, or you can say taxa. Clear? So which taxonomic categories include related orders? So what will be the answer for this question? Okay, answer will be class. So okay, the lowest most taxon is species, then you have the genus, then you have family, then you have order, and then you have the class. So class includes related orders. Above to class is phylum, and then you have the kingdom, which is the highest taxon. Above to kingdom is domain. And then we have subcategories also, like subphylum. Subphylum is below phylum. Okay, it is between the phylum and the class. Then you have subspecies, which is below species. Now let's discuss this question. In the scientific name Panthera tigris, what does Panthera represents? So scientific name has two components according to binomial nomenclature given by Carolus Linnaeus. One is a generic name, another one is the specific epithet. Generic name represents the genus, specific epithet represents the species. So what is Panthera? What does Panthera represents in Panthera tigris? What are the options? Species, genus, family, and order. So what will be the answer for this question? Okay, here the correct answer will be genus. So Panthera represents the genus. Next question, which category is characterized by the presence of notochord and dorsal hollow neural system in the animals? Okay, so this is again very straightforward question here. Which category is characterized by the presence of notochord and dorsal hollow neural system in animals? What are the options? Phylum Chordata, class Mammalia, order Carnivora, and D is kingdom Animalia. What will be the correct answer? Okay, so your answer will be Phylum Chordata. Now let's discuss this question. Which of the following pairs belong to the same family? So what is the option number A? Solanum tuberosum and Panthera leo. B is Mangifera indica and Triticum massivum. C is Felis domestica, which is cat, and Panthera leo, which is lion. Then you have Homo sapiens, which is man, and Musa domestica, which is the housefly. Here Solanum tuberosum is potato, Panthera leo is again lion, Mangifera indica is mango, and Triticum massivum is wheat. So what would be the correct answer here? The correct answer here will be Felis domestica and Panthera leo. They belong to the same family, Felidae. Let's discuss this question. Which taxonomic category has the least number of common characteristic among its members? So they're talking about the least number of common characteristics. So what will be the answer? Option number A is species, B is genus, C is kingdom, and D is class. Okay, here the answer will be option number C, because they are asking about which category has the least number of common characteristics. So kingdom will be the answer. Option C is the correct answer here. So as you move up you can say as you are moving from upwards, from species to kingdom, the number of shared characteristic, number of similar characteristic, or number of common characteristic, they decrease. Okay, because like let's talk about the kingdom. Kingdom is a very broad category. Okay, so here the members of this category, kingdom, will share least number of common characteristics. Clear? So lowest most taxon is species, which is very specific. The members of this category will share maximum number of similarities. Okay, so this you will remember. Lowest most taxon is species. Then higher to species is genus. This you will also remember. Then higher to genus is family. This you should also remember. Then higher to family is order. So you can remember like this. There should be order in a family. Okay, if there is an order in a family, then you have a particular class. So after order you will the higher category as compared to order will be class. Okay, so you have species, genus, family, then you have the order. If you have order, you have a class. Okay, then the next one, higher category is phylum in case of animals, division in case of plants, and the highest most taxon is kingdom. Okay, this is clear. Okay, so all our answers are correct. So this is the end of the session. I hope this session was quite knowledgeable for you. Thank you very much for listening.